Hello, friends. It's time to answer more of your questions. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Julie, and I have a pretty unique life story because I was born with dwarfism. So that means I'm only 3 feet tall, and I was also born blind. And this is going to be my second official Q&A video where I'm answering the questions that you've been asking me in the comments. And I really enjoy doing this, you guys. I love interacting with you in the comments, and I love knowing what things you want to hear more about, because otherwise I think, I'm just rambling about things that are boring and no one cares about. But when you ask me specific questions, it's really fun because I know that I can share things that might help you, or just telling you things that you are interested in. So thank you. You guys have asked some really unique and fun things that I haven't heard a lot throughout my lifetime. So I've loved just the fascinating questions that you come up with. So please feel free to keep asking at any time. You can just put a question in the comments, and I would love to make more videos like this in the future. So, okay, that was rambly and boring. Let's move on to the point. So, I have compiled another little list of questions that you've been asking, and I forget how many are on my list today, 4-ish, 5-ish. So, let's get started. The first question is, can you tell us some of the challenges of living with dwarfism? Yes, I can. But my friend, it is a long list. There are a lot of different challenges that I would love to talk about, and I think I'm going to make another video where all I'm talking about is the stuff that's challenging about being 3 feet tall in a world that was made for tall people. So yeah, I'll either make one video or maybe multiple. I might turn into a series. I don't know. We'll see. But I will tell you a couple today. I'm going to name two things that are challenging about being a little person. And these are things that you may or may not have thought of before. Because I know some things are obvious. If you think about, oh, what's it like to be 3 feet tall? You might think, oh, she can't reach stuff, or, whatever. But these are things that maybe you haven't thought of before or you didn't know. Okay. The first thing I will tell you is I am very susceptible to getting ear infections. That's one of my least favorite things. Anytime I get a cold or have any kind of congestion in my nose, even if it's just a little allergy, it can turn into an ear infection really fast. So I have to be very aware of that and get to the doctor ASAP if I notice that my ears are hurting or feeling plugged or whatever. And for me in particular, because I'm blind, my ears are really important to me. My sense of hearing is super duper important. I rely on my hearing for so many things in my life. So if something happens to my ears, it's not a fun idea. So I am really, really careful with my ears. I used to go to loud concerts when I was younger, and I hardly ever go to concerts now, just for example, because I don't want to damage my ears. So yeah, so when I know that there's potential for an ear infection, I try to take care of it immediately. But it can happen so fast, you guys. Like like a couple months ago, I forget when, I had just a touch of an allergy. I'm pretty sure that's all it was. I just had a little stuffy nose, tiny bit of sore throat, and I thought, oh, my ears are gonna be fine. I'm not that stuffed up, whatever. You guys, it happened so fast one day. It was just within a couple hours. I went from fine to having a raging ear infection, and I needed to be on antibiotics and ear drops. It was so sad. Um, so anyway, I've actually talked with my ENT about this, and his theory is that I get ear infections easily because my eustachian tubes, which are the little tubes that connect your nose and your ears, I'm pretty sure, and your throat, all, the little tubes, they're smaller, but they're also probably at an angle, because that's what happens with kids. When kids get chronic ear infections, it's because of the way their eustachian tubes are angled in their ears, and it makes it hard for them to drain fluid properly. So my ears are probably like little kid ears. So that's probably the reason why. But yeah, it's a challenge I don't enjoy. Sometimes, like in a year, I may have to take antibiotics 3 or 4 times if I get ear infections, because it can be It can be, 3 or 4 times a year, sometimes less. It just depends. So I try to stay as healthy as I can during cold and flu season, partly for that reason. So, okay, that was a long answer. Sorry. But now I have one more challenge to tell you about being a little person. I have to be very careful with maintaining my weight. I know I'm not alone with that. A lot of people have to keep an eye on their weight or are working on the weight loss journey, process, whatever. It's challenging for a lot of us. But for me in particular, because I'm only 3 feet tall, I'm the size of a 2 year old, but in other ways, I have the body of an adult in, some ways. And so I have to be really, really careful because if I gain a few pounds, I really feel it. And for me, if I gain too much weight, I can have issues with my joints. Little people in general have a lot more issues with their joints hurting and arthritis and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just very aware of all of that, and I try to stay at a healthy weight. I just it's hard, you guys, because I love food. I am such a food girl. I think part of that is because I'm blind, I really value my other senses a lot, and my favorite sense is probably taste. So I feel like food tastes extra good to me. So I love eating. I love sweets, chocolate, carbs, everything you're not supposed to eat. It's all my favorite. So I really have to watch it. I try to be pretty disciplined about what I'm eating, how much I'm eating, and how much exercise I'm getting. I exercise every morning if at all possible. I really have to watch it, and it's a thing. So there you go. Those are my challenges that we're going to talk about today, and keep an eye out for more exciting dwarfism challenges in future videos. Okay, here's our next question. What is the polite term to use when you're talking about someone who has dwarfism? That's a really great question. I think a lot of people wonder about that, and I so appreciate you wanting to be polite and sensitive. That's really, really awesome. So this can be personal preference sometimes. I'll tell you my personal preferences, but in general, I would say the term little person is always safe to use. Little person is the accepted term nowadays. You may be familiar with an organization called Little People of America, or maybe you're not familiar with it, but that is an organization here in the United States. So little people, little person, those are all totally fine terms to use. So you can say that person over there is a little person. Or you could also say someone has dwarfism. So I will say I have dwarfism, or I will say I was born with dwarfism, or that person was born with dwarfism. Whew, kind of a mouthful. So those are the things that I say most often. I might occasionally say I am a dwarf or that person is a dwarf, but honestly, I don't say that very often. I'm not offended by that or anything. I don't think it's terrible to say that. It's just not something that I really prefer to say or to hear. I think maybe it's because it sounds a little bit like a label to say that person is a dwarf, I don't know, not really sure. Maybe it's because when I say I'm a dwarf, it kind of makes me think of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I don't know. Oh, hey, you guys, did you know? I just found this out. Did you know that 6 out of the 7 dwarves were not happy? But do you get it? They weren't happy because they were dopey and sleepy and sneezy and talk. Okay, that is your humor for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Okay, so back to my point. I would also tell you a word that you should always avoid is the word midget. That is a word that is pretty offensive these days. It's pretty outdated, and it's just a word you really shouldn't use. But my thing is, if I know that someone is not meaning to be offensive, or they're not trying to be mean or ugly, like I'm not offended that easily. if you're trying to be nice, if you're being friendly, and you say something like I'm okay with it. Yeah, but anyway, those are my tips in general though. Little person, always a safe word to use, or someone has dwarfism, whatever. All of those are good. Okay, just don't say the word midget, please. That's the one to avoid. Okay, sorry. You may not have needed that recap, but there it is anyway. Let's move on. This next question is, what was school like for you? Did you go to a school for the blind? Great question. Again, this is a topic I could cover in multiple videos in the future. So I'm going to give you a quick answer right now, and then later I will expand on it. So if you have questions you want to know, if I don't cover something right now, please let me know. What specific things do you want to know about school, what it was like for me? You can ask anything you want about school, and I would love to answer. So I went to public school from preschool all the way through high school, and then I actually went to college for one semester too. I was in all regular education classes, with the exception of PE. I did take adapted PE in high school for a year. But yeah, other than that, I was in all regular ed classes. I am super fortunate because my school district was awesome. I had a lot of fantastic teachers and a lot of people who were just really, really helpful. I have so many people to thank for my education and for helping me to get through school, because I'm telling you, it was a team effort. um, I did very well in school, but I needed a lot of help and a lot of accommodations. And my school district and the schools that I went to and the teachers that I had, they were all so willing to help and did everything they could to assist me as I learned and as I got through school. So I did well. I worked really, really hard though, because getting good grades was very important to me. But I had to work super hard because I couldn't see, and it took me more effort than the average student, most likely, to just access the curriculum and to do the work that I needed to do. But I did love school. It was kind of a mixed experience though. Sometimes I loved school, sometimes I didn't love it. Um, but I think we could all say that, right? Like there were times when school was awesome and times when it really wasn't. So, anyway, let me know what else you want to know about school, and I would love to talk more about it in future. Okay, next awesome question here. They're all awesome, aren't they? So, how does not seeing color impact your experience when you're reading books? Isn't that a cool question? Um, I did a video very early on where I described what I can see. So I'm going to link that in the description if you want to check it out. But in that video, I talked about how I don't see color and I never have seen color. So when I'm listening to a book, because I do a lot of audiobooks, when I'm listening to an audiobook, I try my best to imagine everything they're describing. But honestly, it is very hard sometimes. It is hard to imagine something you've never seen before. Um, Thankfully, when I was a kid, I had a tiny bit of vision. So some things I can kind of imagine. But it's still hard because it's been a long, long time since I was able to see a little bit. So I've forgotten a lot. But like as far as color goes, because I've never seen color, I don't have any idea what color is or how to picture it. So if something I'm listening to has a lot of descriptions, like let's say an author is going into great detail about what a character is wearing or something like that, or architecture, stuff I've never seen, I find myself just zoning out a lot. So I was like, oh right, well I'm supposed to be listening, but yeah, I just kind of zone out. Although it just depends. Sometimes I really do enjoy listening to somebody describe scenery. I don't know why that is, but describing mountains or trees or whatever. Um, yeah, I don't know. It just depends on what mood I'm in and what the book is and what they're describing. But I would say the hardest thing for me to imagine lately is what people look like. Because I know I used to see people when I was a kid, but I really don't remember a lot. I never saw people's faces super clearly. So when an author is describing what someone's face is like, what color their eyes are, and oh, they have high cheekbones, or they have almond shaped eyes, or whatever. I'm just like, no idea what that means. So there you go. I hope that helps. Basically, I kind of tune out accidentally, or sometimes I guess I never really fast forward. I just do my best to imagine, but it's interesting. Okay, this is our last question for today, and it is, how do you send a text message on your phone? Oh, this is a fun thing to talk about too. So, I have an iPhone, and I've been an iPhone user since, I don't know, it's been a long time, 2012 ish. The cool thing is that every Apple product comes with software on it called a screen reader. And other phones and other companies make screen readers as well. So it's not just Apple, but the Apple version of the screen reader is called VoiceOver. And basically, VoiceOver reads everything to me that is on the screen. It can't read every single thing. Like, it doesn't ever read those little GIF things. GIF, I think it's GIF. It doesn't ever read those to me, or like stickers and stuff. It can't do that kind of thing. But any kind of text, it can typically read to me. So as I'm typing, if I'm texting somebody, I can type with my fingers on the keyboard of my touchscreen, and VoiceOver will say the letter that I'm touching. So that's how I type, just by hand. But you guys, I am super, super slow when I'm typing. I make lots of mistakes and have to erase things, and it just takes me forever. So I don't love to do that, and I don't like that's not my first choice. I don't do that very often. When I can, I'm dictating. So if I'm texting, or if I'm sending some kind of message or whatever, I use dictation, and it usually works really well for me. I also send voice messages. So, like in a text thread, you can record your voice. On an iPhone, my favorite way to do it is you put the phone to your ear, and there's a little ding sound, and then you can talk, and then you take the phone away from your ear, and it'll go ding again, and then you can send the message. So that's how I do those, where it's just my voice talking to my friend. But yeah, those are the main ways. Dictation is kind of the main one. But sometimes I'm out and about, and it's loud wherever I am, and I can't dictate. So that's when I have to type with my little tiny fingers and take 10 years to write one sentence. But it does work if I have to do that. So there you go. That's my complicated answer. I would really also like to make a whole video all about how I use my phone, and I can demonstrate that and show you how it all works. The trick with that is I'm going to have to borrow somebody else's phone to film that, because I am using my phone to film this. Like, my YouTube videos are, I just do them on my phone. So maybe someone will help me and let me borrow their phone so I can film and show you mine. So, anywho, that's my answer. I hope this was interesting. Thank you so much for watching today. And again, more questions. It would be great if you have more. I would love to keep talking with you. Please feel free to subscribe so we can spend more time together in the future. I have really enjoyed getting to know you guys and interacting with you in the comments. Please feel free to leave a comment and just tell me whatever you want. And yeah, I guess that's all. Hope you have a really great day, and I will talk to you again soon.